All right, we're good to go. We're good to go. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So again, I'm Karen Cotton, and I do marketing and communications for research and innovation. And I'm charged with increasing the visibility of the research endeavors that all of you are involved in. There's some amazing things that are happening here at Prairie View A&M University, but the challenge is to make sure that the entire globe is aware of everything that you're doing. And how are we doing that? We're doing that by telling your stories, and we're doing that by making sure that people that we reach through our various mechanisms understand the compelling point that you're making with your research. And we do it in a way that is engaging to others, both to subject matter experts and to those who may not have your specific discipline as an area for their expertise. And we also want to make sure that we reach the target audience that would be interested in the kind of work that you are doing. And we tell it in a way that guides them through the story that you're trying to tell. Most importantly, when we tell the story of your research, we need to do it in a way that it's relatable to those that are reading about it. When something is relatable, when it clicks with you, what do? You tell other people about it. Hey, did you read that story about, did you see that little video about this, or did you see on Instagram this? Let me share it with you. Let me pass it to you. So spreading those ideas and getting your research information out to the masses. And always, if you have a research story that you want to get out, know that you can reach us at PVAMU Research. And if you go to our research department and research and innovation, and click on communications, there's a space there for you to tell us your story, and someone will follow up with you and find a way to get your story out. And I'm going to encourage everyone to follow us on PVAMU Research to stay up to date with what's happening on research and innovation. So in research, marketing, and communication, very quickly, we do things like the Review Magazine, the Insights newsletter, social media, the website, and of course, sharing the story of research. We're here today to talk about building your brand. But first of all, what is a brand? Just put it in chat. What is a brand? So a brand is a way to tell your story the way that you want it to be told, right? So it's a way to tell who you are and what is this work that you're doing. What is this life's work, this thing that energizes you? What is this thing? And tell it in a way that you want it to be told. And a brand is also something that makes you stand out from the crowd. It makes you unique. It's the one thing about you that makes you unique. For example, we have a couple of professors around that wear bow ties. And when you think of them, you say, oh, you know, the guy that wears the bow ties. So that it's something about you that's unique, that stands out. Dr. Adela Mora Gutierrez, she always wears white. You know that lady that's always walking around, she walks a lot and she wears white. So it's something about you that separates you from the masses. There may be a million other people that are doing what you're doing, but what is it about you that separates you from the masses? And also, when you build your brand and you're connected with Prairie View A&M University, that not only gives you more prominence, but it also gives prominence and credibility to Prairie View and A&M University. This is that guy or that woman who is connected with Prairie View A&M University, and they're unique in this way. Are you with me so far? Show of hands, say something in the chat. All right. So how many of you recognize all 6 of these brands? Okay, quite a few of you recognize all 6 of these brands. So a brand can be something that is so simple, um, yet when you see that Nike swoosh, you know certain things about that Nike swoosh. There are certain feelings that are that come up for you about that Nike swoosh. When you see that Target brand, there are certain things or memories. I remember when I bought these towels for my daughter's first apartment, we went to Target. Certain things are going to come up for you and become a memory for you based on that brand. McDonald's, Shell Gas, Starbucks. Some of us see that sign and we know, oh, all of a sudden we want to go to Starbucks. Many of us use Apple products, Apple computers, Apple phones. So that brand is something that makes you recognizable, just like Dr. Maura Gutierrez's white pants. Those things make her recognizable. So when I see that, I immediately think about the research that she's doing with omega-3. So things like that. So you want to connect with people via your brand. Branding serves as a shorthand to convey your skills and your style. So when you think about branding as a researcher, that's going to be something different than someone who is doing a Starbucks, right? So as a researcher, you have to think about, what is my goal? What is it that I'm trying to do? Why is Ms. Cotton talking to me about building a brand? What is my goal? So think about things like, what do you want the end game to be? What do you want? So your professional brand should be tied to your professional goals. So if your professional goal is to get tenure, to let people know what the research is that you're doing, always referee journals. This is not to replace referee journals at all. This is in addition to. So how do I want to be known in my area with other people that are doing the same things that I'm doing, or with people in other disciplines? Because we know that when you're putting together a proposal, if you are working with someone in a different discipline, then that can also make your research proposal stronger, right? We know that, right? So if you put yourself out there in that space, then you're likely to be able to connect with other people. People can connect with you other than having to go through referee journals. This is another way to do that. This is a way to help you prioritize and focus your efforts when you think first about, what is my goal? If you identify one goal for your career that would help you to fulfill your purpose and realize your vision, what would it be? This is before you start doing anything about branding. You have to think about, what is your goal? And right here, I'll give a quick story about someone who attended some other branding workshops that I did, and that's Dr. Yelderman. And he's developed a professional branding in the social spaces, and he completed some research on mass shootings. And then the unfortunate incident happened at the Walmart in El Paso, and journalists, CNN and so on, different journalists were Googling to find someone who had done some research on mass shootings. And because he was in those social spaces, his name popped up. His name popped up because he was in those social spaces. So the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the Fox Newses of the world, the ABC 13, they're not going to go to a referee journal. They're going to Google their name and see what comes up, something that's easy for them to read and identify with. And he was contacted by several news agencies and several journalists to get his take on mass shootings. So that was for him something that was a goal. And for him, that was a way for him to get his research out to the masses. So how do you use your brand? Your brand is a way to introduce yourself to the world. It's that simple. You should know who your target audience is, and they should know by your brand exactly what you bring to the table. If you're a person like that picture that I had with the guy with the one orange tennis shoe and the one green tennis shoe, they're going to know that you're kind of quirky and you're able to think out of the box. You know, that's what your brand is telling you. When you walk into the room, you walk in with your brand. So branding is impression management. What impression am I leaving the people that meet me, that read my documents, that see me on in social spaces, social media spaces, that read my blog, that I meet at a conference or something? What impression am I leaving them with? And what is my professional reputation like? Think about that. What is your professional reputation like? Are you a person that responds quickly to requests to collaborate? Are you a person that responds quickly to emails? Are you a person that is always eager to present, always there to help and support? That's all part of your professional reputation and as part of your brand. What would your references say about you when your name pops up for being on a certain committee or serving in a position for some other part of the university? What are people going to say about you at that point? And just at Prairie View A&M University, what do your colleagues say about you and your professionalism? All of that is part of your brand. When you walk in, you bring your brand with you. When you respond to an email, if it has misspellings, if it has perfect spelling, if it defines clearly the information that was requested, if the person has to go back and forth with you in order to get the information, all of that is part of your brand. And here's another thing, and it's critical. Do your peers even know who you are? Do your peers know who you are? And when I say peers, I mean, do people across campus know who you are? Do other people within your department know who you are? Do other people within your discipline that are not at the campus know who you are? And are you okay with that? Or is that something you want to change? And if it's something you want to change, then this is exactly what you need. You need to start building your brand. You need to work at it. So how do you use your brand? You use your brand to introduce yourself to the world. And your target audience should know exactly what it is that you're bringing to the table. Your brand tells who you are, what you do, and what makes you different. Got another question for you. When you see this, tell me what comes up for you. She's not wearing a logo. Put it in the chat box, please. What feelings come up for you? Just put your response in the chat box, please. Okay, so Oprah has been able to build a brand that makes people believe that she is caring, she is compassionate, that she is giving, that she is warm, of course that she's a billionaire, but but she has been able to build a brand that conveys those things to the masses. And that's by design. That didn't just happen overnight. That was something that she and her team worked at. Well, we don't have a team, we have just us. But it's important to decide what you want your brand to look like, what my Karen Cotton brand should look like. And it's important to me to work at that every day. If I want to be known as a person that responds to things, that is there to help, that is there to support, then I need to do that every day. I need to show up and do that every day. And your brand has to fit you. I can't build my brand to look like Oprah. I can't build my brand to look like anyone else. It has to fit me. It has to feel right to me, and it has to tell my professional story. And know that I'm talking about your professional brand. When I talk about building social media spaces, understand that I'm not talking about adding professional information to the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram that you have now, that you share pictures of birthday parties with. I'm talking about a separate professional set of social media, a separate professional identity that is separate from your personal identity, that is only about building who you are and letting the world know who you are, and not being afraid to share your excellence and your expertise, and being out there so that people can find you and you can interact with people that you never would have had the opportunity to interact with if it were a face-to-face thing. But because you're in those social spaces and because you're building your brand, they may reach out to you. It's up to you to do that. So why is professional branding important? It's important because of a number of things. First of all, you always want to be top of mind. When someone needs a person to build widgets, the first person that pops into their mind needs to be you. If you're interested in building widgets, that person needs to be you. So it's up to you to determine, how am I going to stand out from the crowd? How am I going to be the person that they think of first? So that's what building a brand is all about, being top of mind. And it increases your credibility. When you're doing things the right way, when you're out there and establishing yourself as a subject matter expert, it increases your credibility and you're more likely to be called upon to do things. It enhances your prestige. It gives you greater recognition for the things that you do. And the research that you're doing, we're doing some amazing things, as I mentioned earlier, at Prairie View A&M University, but people don't know about it. And we don't do these amazing things just to be in a silo or in a vacuum. We do these things because we want them to impact the global conversations. And this is a way to get involved in that global conversation. And this is the other thing, it can increase your earning potential. By building your brand, you can increase your earning potential because people know who you are and they want you to be a part of their projects. At this point, I also want to talk about your digital footprint. And by digital footprint, I mean things like, if I were to Google you, what would come up? Are you on LinkedIn? Do you have a current photo on LinkedIn? Have you talked about the research that you're doing? You're probably in ResearchGate or one of the others, but are you in social media? All of those things help when it comes to competition, when it comes to making sure that you are considered, making sure that you are considered. So I have a couple of co-hosts today, Sierra Susbury and Candace Johnson. So let's see if they are in the room. If they're not, I'll just keep talking. You dear, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so our other panelists here,
Can you hear me, Ms. Karen?
I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
A really bad connection.
Okay. I'll tell you what, let me see if there are any questions here while we wait for Sierra Susbury and Candace Johnson from the Prairie View A&M University Marketing Communications to join us. So let's see the questions. Yadira is having signal problems. Okay, I see that several people recognize the logos. Okay, at this time, does anyone have any questions for me while we wait? So I'll just keep talking. It's not a problem for me to talk. So one of the things that we have done in the past, and we'll probably do again in a future RITI session, is to help people who are interested in starting social media, professional social media spaces. We help them to get started with that. So if there is anything, if there are any of you who are interested in establishing social media, then just put it in the chat, and we will make sure that we invite you when we do how to start your social media. In the meantime, those of you who do have social media, I invite you again to follow us on PVAMU Research. That's where we are on Instagram, that's where we are on Twitter, and that's where you can find us on Facebook. We always have the latest information on what's happening in research and innovation on those sites. And you can always go also to our website, which if you haven't visited our website in a while, I encourage you to go there because we are doing some rebranding ourselves. It's always important to brand yourself and make sure that the brand that you're using is indicative and represents you well. And so we have done some revamping of our website, and stay tuned, there will be more to come with regard to making sure that research and innovation conveys a message that we are forward thinking, we are innovative, we're here to support you, and we want to increase the visibility of the work that you are doing. At this point, our Vice President, Dr. Magesh Rajan, is in the room, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to speak and share some information about what's happening in church. Dr. Rajan, if you'll unmute.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I enjoyed your presentation about the importance for branding. And I was looking forward to the marketing and communication team members from Prairie View to also present. If not today, I hope they will be able to provide our research community sometime in the near future. What I wanted to share to the participants here, I couldn't see any of them, so I hope they are communicating via chat messages.
They are.
Great. But if they have any questions to me, I would love to answer them. But I wanted to mention a couple of important points about the need for branding for researchers, whether you're a tenure track faculty or a research scientist. The branding is important. The reason is that most of our work revolves around the significance of the research that we do. And in order to continue the research significance, we all know that we need more resources, right? The resources come through funding opportunities, whether within the campus or in the region or state of Texas, or from federal agencies. Oftentimes, faculty or researchers focus only on writing grant proposals and hoping that the proposals will be reviewed by a panel of reviewers and they will receive funding. In reality, though, reviewers, or in general, even program managers, they do look at the significance of the researcher's work. And that's only possible via social media, website, or a 5-minute YouTube video clip. They go far beyond than having 20 publications where they may not have the time to read that many publications to understand the impact of our research. So in my own career, I have received numerous funding opportunities or networks through branding of my research that I do and the work that I did with undergraduate, graduate students, postdocs, and other faculty collaborators. They all provided opportunities and strengthened my proposals because it does bring some significance and also visibility to the program managers' funding opportunities. So in return, we would give them a significant boost for their programs support. So I strongly recommend all researchers who are listening today to spend some time on your personal branding. The vehicles would be, make sure to have a website, even a simple website will be great, and have some social media presence, such as Twitter or Instagram or at least LinkedIn, and maybe 1 or 2 YouTube videos. Our Office of Research and Innovation, Marketing and Communication staff, Karen Cotton, and the University Marcom staff will be able to assist you if you need any assistance to get additional visibility. Our goal is to help you, and through that, Prairie View will be elevated with its research and innovation activities. So that's all I wanted to share. We are always here to help. You can send questions here, or you can contact our Marcom staff, Karen Cotton, for further assistance. That's all I have, Karen.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Rajan, as always, very good information. The Prairie View A&M University Marcom, one of the things they wanted to share and make sure that everyone understood was the value in having professional social media, and the value it is to both you and to Prairie View A&M University. They do not have a problem with you doing that and saying that you are a part of Prairie View A&M University. It is critical, though, that when you do say that you're connected with Prairie View A&M University, you need to pay attention to the voice that you're speaking with. Are you speaking with Jane Doe of Prairie View A&M University, or are you speaking as Jane Doe, who, by the way, happens to work at Prairie View A&M University? There's a difference in the voice. When you speak as Jane Doe, who of Prairie View A&M University, then understand that your words are representative of someone who is connected with the university. And to that end, to some degree, you have to be careful about the way that you speak and how you say the things that you're saying. So that is something that they wanted to make sure that researchers understood and knew. Also, they encourage you to build your social media presence and understand what a brand is, and to call on them if you need support. As Dr. Rajan said, call on them if you need support with that. And we are working, both the Office of Research and Innovation and the PVAMU Marcom department, we are working to find a way to have a group of subject matter experts so that when these things happen, such as the mass shooting that happened at Walmart in El Paso, we have a group of subject matter experts that are ready to talk to the media, who are ready with quotes and who are ready to go on ABC 13 with Melanie Lawson or whoever it is, to respond to those things. And we need to be ahead of the curve. For example, every year we know that there's something that's going to happen with the African red dust. And we have a professor right on our campus that has been doing research forever on the African red dust. So we need to have that person ready to respond and even be ahead of the curve on that, and have some things prepared and ready so that we are considered in the conversation, so that we are top of mind when the journalist and the media, when they are looking for someone. We've already got something prepared, and we've already got a person prepared and ready to respond to those questions, and can respond in a way that is able to be understood by everyone, not just people that are subject matter experts like you guys are. So that's what we are about, making sure that there's visibility to the amazing work that you do. I think that unless there are additional questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this early, and we'll invite the PVAMU Marcom to another RITI session. I want to make sure that you know, let's go back to this. Can you guys see my screen? If you'll just respond in chat. Okay. All right, so research and innovation. We're doing a weekly 1-hour training, and it's virtually right now. And I'm thinking that a lot of people like it virtually, so we may have a conversation about that. But every Monday at 1 o'clock, we're doing that, the Research and Innovation Training Institute sessions, or RITI, as we like to call it. We've done proposal writing and support, research compliance is coming up. We're doing branding, building your budget, and the next one is going to be about undergraduate research. This is our calendar for May 11th, faculty mentorship for undergraduate research assistants, and that will be presented by Grace Abology. And on Monday, May 18th, class project, to IRB or not to IRB, and that'll be